Hey, what's up there, YouTube? Just jumping on here. Probably gonna do a live stream talking about this too, but just a video right now. I don't know if people have been watching and noticing this stuff. More and more technology's popping up in different shops and stores and different places that you go, and it's leading us right down the same pathway, to transhumanism and the mark of the beast and all this stuff. And I'll just show you what I just saw, and people are going to say, nah, you're jumping to conclusions. Maybe, but I'll tell you what, wait till you see this. Here's the deal. The Wawa, I don't know if you guys, wait a minute, if you guys know what a Wawa is, because I think it's only an East Coast thing. It's basically like a 7-Eleven without a guy with a turban on his head. No, I'm just kidding. No, a lot of 7-Elevens around here run by the Indians for whatever reason. But anyway, to get to my point, the Wawa has these doors where you can walk in and you run your hand across it, and it'll open up the door for somebody else or open it for you up. It's got a blue light wrapped around it, and you wave your hand on it, right? That's simple technology. You have this on the phones too. You can hand gestures. The point being is, watch this. Let me show you what I'm talking about. All right, so I don't know if you can see that. Let me blow it up a little bit. It's on the wall by the door. It's got like a blue lit up ring, and you run your hand over it. Okay, here's the deal. They got the cameras, right? I can almost guarantee you, when you run your hand over it, it just stole your fucking biometrics off your hand, right? And the videos, it matched it up with the video of you in the store, okay? That's just how fucked up it is. So maybe even scanned your fingerprints and you didn't know it. And why do they need all that shit? But to take this a step further, it's not only to open the door, it's to lock you the fuck out if you don't get that little chip in your hand pretty soon. That was one of the things that they did up in Michigan. This one company was putting chips in people's hands to go and to get into to work, to scan their hand and go in the door for security and whatever. The point being is, they're going to just fucking lock anybody who doesn't have that chip in their hands. Going to be locked out of everything in society, and there ain't going to be anything you can really do about it. So the point being is that they're taking and doing the same thing, but on a bigger scale, in my opinion. And this is only one aspect of it. You also have Elon Musk making wearable components or some shit he wants everybody to wear. I don't know who the fuck he is. He ain't telling me to wear nothing, dude. But evidently it's a new technology, and they're going to keep track of everyone or whatever the hell they're doing with all that crap. I think it's invasion of your privacy and a million other things why they shouldn't do this. However, he wants to go ahead, or him and Trump or whatever, they're going to do that. And what do you think that thing that Trump had and Elon were talking about months ago? Nobody's saying a word about it. It was called Stargate, this huge project. Billions and billions of dollars being dumped in there. Meanwhile, they also have data centers. Billions and billions of dollars using up all kinds of energy and shit. They are creating the beast system. I made a kind of a video the other day in the McDonald's. The same type of technology is starting to pop up. It looks all innocent, maybe. It might have had a QR scan thing on there. Let me show you. So anyway, you're just voluntarily just giving up your biometrics. Now, that could work against you, too, if someone can take that scanner and remake some kind of handprint. You could get blamed for something that you'd be scanned into, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, let me get to this other thing I'm talking about now. Here it is. It was McDonald's. Oh, the scanner thing down there. Wait a minute. Ready? It's got a QR code, something for a card. The point being is, they're working closer and closer to getting us to scan everything. And I'm telling you, it's going to be crazy pretty soon. Because that's why, in my opinion, if you notice, we're going completely into the technology of basically eliminating human beings totally, in a sense, from just about everything. Your phone's trying to outsmart you. It's a smartphone. Like, my thing's doing its own shit, you know, reprogramming shit for me that I didn't even want done, you know what I mean? And making phone calls or whatever the fuck else it's doing in there, and texting, and it's doing all kinds of crazy shit on its own. Or has the ability to do that if it's not doing that right now. This is getting crazy as fuck. And people are just going along with it, scan their hand and all this. And like I said, Elon's rolling out this thing. It's the mark of the beast coming. And it might take several different things to get to the actual mark of the beast. But they're already playing around with this thing, and it's no good. We need to stand up against this bullshit, you know? And like I said, they could probably scan your hand on that thing, right? And they probably already scanned hundreds of thousands of people that use that going into the Wawa. And if, you know, how they're going to match that up with crimes that may have happened, you see what I'm saying? Fucking crazy. In other words, they won't have to go out and get warrants and shit. They'll be going into the Wawa and taking a disc out of something in there and finding your scan and matching it up with the camera. I'm not saying that's happening. I'm saying I am, there's a word for it. I'm basically dot to dot, connecting the dots. I think that could be happening. If not now, very soon. I honestly believe that's the direction we're heading to. A police state, a frickin' nightmare, you know, social credit scores and all this. Anyway, keep your eyes open and look around you and start filming it and taking notes, or, you know, just mental notes, and start talking about it. Get people aware of it. Because people, I just push the door open. I don't scan the fucking hand on that. Fuck them. I'm not that lazy. It's like, oh, wow, there's an electric there. I can scan. You know, if someone's carrying coffee, which I was, or somebody can scan it for you. But I don't know. We got along without all that shit. Why do we need it now all of a sudden? And they can't get it out fast enough. And if you know the Bible, there's a part in the Bible, I believe it was Daniel, Nebuchadnezzar had a dream. There was a big statue in the dream, and it had different kinds of metals were in it, like gold for the head, and then silver. I might be wrong on this silver. Shoulders and chest was iron, and the thighs were all the way down to the toes. Yeah, the feet were some other kind of metal, and the toes were miry clay and iron, which doesn't cleave or doesn't stick together. So basically, it's a reverse. If you have a heavy-ass statue, the gold up top was the Medo-Persian kingdom, and all the way down, each one of them represented kingdoms. From, you know, the top one was back in the past. Now we're down to the feet, holding. And what is the feet? That's your foundation. And here's the deal: you don't build a heavy top on a weak foundation. And that's exactly what society has done, or is in the process of doing. Is the miry clay and the iron, it's not going to hold up in the weight of the statue, in a sense. It's hard to explain where I'm going with this, but excuse me. Basically, it's going to collapse, and that's where we're at right now. I think we're right at that. And basically, with the clay and the iron, the miry clay and the iron, the clay is organic material. I believe it's made through plants and whatnot. And the iron's metal, right? Okay. The metal represents technology, and the clay, human flesh, or, you know. So they're putting the two together. That's where you get the, what the hell do you call that? I just said it. Transhumanism, okay? That's an abomination to God. I think that thing that Elon's got going, that's the Abomination in the temple. Your body is the fucking temple. They're trying to put chips in you and everything else. God, you're made in God's image. You don't need that shit in you. All right. Now, meanwhile, there's also the fact that they're building the third temple, and there's actually going to be an Antichrist that goes in there and sits in there and probably calls himself God. I'm pretty sure that's where we're going with all this. There's two different things there. The one thing is people aren't even going to see that their body's a temple, and they'll defile it by getting that chip. They don't realize you're precious in God's eyes, and you don't need anything to make you any better. So just remember that, and stay away from the mark of the beast. Have a good one. I'm going to get out of here and maybe do a live stream later tonight. Have a good one.